Sharon Osbourne is not going to see any of these videos. And you know that. But you know who is going to see these videos is women who are stuck in relationships with violent men who are having to deal with women like you, gaslighting them and probably making excuses. That's what this is for. You know, I just want to clear something up why I am talking about Ozzy and Sharon. I don't want to know anything else about them. I really don't. I don't care. The more I find out about her, which I already knew plenty of it because of Megan and the way she is doing the white woman stuff that we do based in jealousy and misogynoir and all that stuff. The reason why I am talking about Ozzy and what he did to Sharon is not because it has anything to do with them. It is because of you are proving my point. It is because people watch my stuff who also do not know, who will never know them, will never know these celebrities. But you know what? You do know a woman who is in an abusive relationship. And this is exactly what you're probably doing to her. Or maybe you're the one in an abusive relationship and you don't want to see the disdain that a man has for you to try to strangle you. And, my buddy from F the Nice Guy podcast, I just talked about this yesterday. It's coming out on Saturday. The reason why I talk about celebrity is because, well, when I talk about my own story, no one cares. Well, some people care. But the reason why I talk about celebrities is A, they have a whole PR machine behind them. Like celebrities on that level, they control the narrative, them and their PR team. They are, Sharon is coming out with some biopic about their amazing love story. So I do not want any woman who follows me to buy into that because that's always the narrative. It's like, well, whatever, he's trying to strangle her all death and cheated on her a lot of times. When she had cancer, shot a bunch of animals in his backyard, admitted to it, killed 17 cats, bit heads off of things. Oh, but maybe it was who cares? I don't want women who follow me to think that's okay. And it also, unfortunately, proved a point I did not want to prove is that this is what women are up against way more than the men themselves that are harming. It is women in their lives who are supposed to care about them, who are supposed to want them to not die, but who are so forked by this patriarchal conditioning. And knitting cult lady and white woman whisperer have been doing an excellent job talking about how like whiteness and patriarchy and all this stuff, it's really like cult like conditioning. And it takes a while to put a crack into that and to unlearn this stuff because it is such deep indoctrination from when we're born into this society. And so comments like these, which there have been hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds in the one video alone with over 500,000 views, and it's mostly women, and they're not bots. A lot of them are, I'm sure, but this is a person. Please do not go to her page. I have a lot of white British women who are trolling me really hard right now, probably because you are royalist and hate Meghan too. And so anything that threatens Sharon threatens you somehow, because maybe you don't know what love is. And maybe you too think that Sharon's idea of love is healthy and Meghan's idea of love is something else. It's jealous. It's fear that might actually be possible, and that living in this system where violence against us, even attempted murder against us, is totally like whatever. It's a bump in the road. This is how y'all talk to me. This is how when I made that video about the dude walking off at the river almost a year ago in September. Now, again, I'm sure some of it was bots, but the number of women in my comments who blamed me for that. What were you doing there? Why were you wearing a swimsuit next to the river that you were going and swimming in? Why do you go out alone without anybody? What were you doing in public? Didn't you know that, but like it was the comments traumatized me, not the event. I have had numerous men to me since I was a child. Okay, I've been processing that for a long time. I'm not diminishing what he did, but this isn't my first rodeo. But the hardest part of that whole situation, and why I learned to never tell those stories when I'm in the middle of them ever again online. I already knew that story as a writer and a storyteller. I always knew never tell a story you're in the middle of. But boy, did I have to learn my lesson the hard way online, where I actually have to hear what the audience said, the terrifying things that the audience, a lot of women, will say to my face or tap into my comments. They would never say it to my face. I don't have the guts to say it to my face, but will tap into my comment. Why were you blank? What were you doing there? Like, it was absurd. It was terrifying. And this video of like me just reminding people that that's not a love story. and that your husband should not try to strangle you, drunk or sober, and that don't fall for it. That's not a healthy idea of love. Constant struggle, constant having to forgive, parenting your husband like he's literally a child, keeping that man alive, keeping him sober, keeping him up, like what, that is not our job. And so to see how many people responded to me personally when I told my own story, or whenever I talk about men who some women just love so much, whenever I, call out their violence, and then I get this. This is this is what y'all are doing to the women in your lives, or this is what you're doing to yourself. If you're in an abusive relationship, you're excusing this behavior with this. And I'm really sorry that you don't understand how harmful this is to you and to society to do this. But Sharon will never watch my videos. I don't care. This isn't for her. This is for all of us. This is for the younger version of me that may have excused this stuff too, because whatever, like I love his songs. I mean, I was never a huge Ozzy fan anyway, but let's just say it was someone that I was a big fan. It is really hard to find out that they do awful things, awful things that are criminal, that they could go to jail for a long time for, but of course they won't. These videos are for y'all, for you to see what we do to each other. Because I mean, I expected this from men, but it's the number of women who have been trolling me for over a week for calling Ozzy Osbourne, for calling out his attempted murder, which he has admitted to. And then don't speak ill of the, she forgave him. It's none of your business. I wish I didn't know. I would have never known if they hadn't told us and talked about it and tried to normalize it. So my videos are for all the women out there who are in these relationships and they hear other women saying this to their face and justifying the violence against them from their own partner. This is for those women. This is for those women. I am on your side. I want you to know this is not okay. If you don't know it, if you are trying to get out, I am cheering you on. And I know that not only is the man in your home who is torturing you and might even take your life, not only is he a big problem, it's all the women, the people, but the women especially, who are going to try to tell you because of their own fear that that could happen to them, but their refusal to really fully admit that they're afraid that could happen to them, or their denial of it already happening to them. Those women who are condoning this, or who are just so male centered, they will give a pass on anything. This is for those women to know I am on your side. I'm cheering you on, and you're not crazy to be pissed that someone is dehumanizing you in your own home, someone you share a bed with, your heart with, your money with, your home with, maybe children with, you've shared your life with, you've done so much for. You're not crazy for thinking that you deserve more and you should get out. This is not love. This is for those people. And all the women who are doing this is for you to see. If you're doing this, you are riding this hard for Sharon, who you don't even know, isn't really riding for her. Because even though she has forgiven him and is accepting it, the best kinds of friends in your lives are the ones who are going to say, you deserve better than this. Thank God I had women in my life as friends across gender, but especially the women close to me in my life who never let me believe for a second, the close friends of mine, never let me believe for a second I deserved any of this, never justified it, and actually helped me unfork my brain from what he was telling me, from what my past trauma crap I hadn't dealt with was telling, patriarchal conditioning was telling, from what women and people in society, but especially women, say to people like us. Because whether you realize it or not, you and all the women who make comments like this, you are doing this to women in your life. You're probably doing it to yourself. And you are just as dangerous as the men who literally strangle us. I'm not exaggerating. You are just as dangerous. And this kind of harm hurts more. This. Hope that helps. And also, you're blocked.